Do you do a wash day? Like for your hair?
I wash my hair like every day, I think, with not Head and Shoulders. Used to use Head and Shoulders, but I think got something like Suave. I don't really care. Then sometimes I grab some of Terra conditioner. I don't know what it does. I just put it on my hair. And then like last week she got this like body scrub. And she was like, feel my legs, and they was like real smooth. And the next day it was in the shower, and so I tried it.
On your legs?
Yeah.
And how did they feel?
It felt very smooth. Because I don't grow hair, you know. Like she was like, you know, she shaved and she used it, but for me, I don't have any body hair. I wish I had hair right here. Like,
for those that aren't watching the podcast, he's pointing to his beard, where he would want his beard to be. It's okay. MJ got one.
Yeah, that is true.
Are you jealous?
No. I'm cool with the baby face.
Yeah, I have a wash day. Now that my hair's out of braids, I'm trying to figure out what's like the best routine. Right now it's been Fridays. So as we're recording this today is my wash day. So those that see me, just know this is natural. We are here in our natural state as we come to this. Yeah. We are coming as we are. That is very much how Mount Zion operates. So here I am on wash day.
Oh, at first I thought you were talking about clothes.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
So wash day is the hair.
Wash days, I was referring to hair. Some people do have like I do laundry on this day.
See, like, I'm like not big on, maybe I should be, like skincare, and hair care and all that type of stuff. Like in Tara and our bathroom, I have deodorant, floss, toothpaste, toothbrush. I think that's about it on the counter. Everything else belongs to Tara.
Oh.
I just started using her face wash.
And how do you feel?
I don't know. I want to glow in a little bit. I glow a little better when I get a haircut, but
okay.
But so I don't have none of that type of stuff. It's all her.
Yeah, I think there are times where I am slightly envious of men because y'all could use dish soap and have glowing skin. There's all these products for women. You think so? I know so.
You think the products really work, or is this a mental thing?
On the what's advertised to women, I think there's some hype about it, and I think there's some stuff that actually does work. I talked to my roommate about this a lot. I was like, whenever I go into like a beauty store and I just want like a facial cleanser, like that's all I want. But they're always trying to solve a problem. They're always, it's like too dry, too oily, acne, dark spots. Like they're all trying to solve a problem. And I'm like, I just need a regular cleanser. Like I just need to regularly clean my face, which gets into the space of like women feeling that they need to be perfect. Like like why is it hard to just find a regular cleanser? Where on the men's side you'll have like a 18-in-1 bottle of things. There is a product that literally says like 18-in-1. Shampoo, soap.
So why don't just use the men's stuff?
Well, the 18-in-1 also talks about like the fact that you're supposed to brush your teeth with it. Sorry, you're supposed to brush your teeth with it, and you can clean your sink with it. Doesn't feel like something that I would want to use.
Who makes that?
I've never heard of it. I don't know who it is. This guy I used to date had one, and I was like, "What is this?"
He brushed his teeth with the same product he washed his body with.
Yes. He thought it was revolutionary.
That's not. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, but y'all got like a 3-in-1, a body wash, a shampoo, and conditioner. And those do 3 different things.
That is true. I've seen that.
Yeah. So, why don't I use the men's stuff? Well, I don't want to smell like a man. That's one. It's one thing. But yeah, products are just advertised differently to us.
Yeah, so I can't take scents.
Mm.
I get migraines from smells.
Oh.
So, like cologne, can't wear any of that. Deodorant has some scent in it, but it only lasts for a little while, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But other than that, that's why I don't have much hygiene stuff.
Because it all has a scent.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But yeah, I think, yeah, like I said, I think for some people it works. For me, it's not like I don't have a counter full of, no, let me take that back. I do have a lot of products. I have a good amount of products. I have
makeup,
a routine.
Then all the makeup and stuff. And the makeup wipes.
Yes.
It's just so much.
Mm-hmm.
Then all the cologne, perfume.
Yeah, this is y'all's fault, though.
And then, who is y'all?
Men's.
Told you about that, CT.
What?
Putting everybody in the same category.
What? You identify as a man, correct?
But all of us are not the same. We're not the same.
It's like the collective we. The collective men's. Some men
That sounds better.
like to have their women all like done up and stuff. I have this one straight hair that's like in my face. It's just one strand of hair. It's straight. Can you see that?
I see it now. Yeah. You flat ironed that one?
No. Yeah, I wanted to see how long my hair would be if I flat ironed it. But yeah, it's yeah, there are men that want their women to be like dolled up, done up, makeup up, smell like this, smell like that, da 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 da.
And some men don't like makeup. You said that before. So, so how you gonna say it's men's fault?
Because of like some of the men's that are out there are speaking for all y'all.
That's cap.
They are. They're like, they will be on podcasts just like this and be like, men like X.
That's what I'm saying. Or people like black people.
Yeah.
Or Christians.
Yes.
Cannot put everybody in the same category because all of us are not the same.
That is true. It's almost like a...
We are not the same.
We're not the same. It's like a sense of... What's the word I'm looking for? Just like feeling that you can speak for everything, everyone, and all populations just because you identify within it. Yeah, I don't like that.
Me neither.
But anyway.
Anyways.
Welcome.
Welcome.
To MTZ Overflow Podcast. I'm your host, Cassaundra Thorpe. I'm here with my forever guest, Reverend Dr. Marcus Allen. As you can see, or what you will hear, is that he is repping our Division I institution here in Madison, Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Badgers.
You do not have to pull attention to that, but go Bucky.
Well, if you were wearing something with the Bucks on it, I would have said something.
True.
You never wear anything about the Brewers. I'm not going to say nothing about that, though.
Not a real big fan of baseball. I don't really like it when it's in person.
I feel that, though.
Or the playoffs. I watch the playoffs.
You
seem a little more intense. But,
yeah.
like, went to a game and the outfielder did nothing the whole game. He just stood there the whole game. Because no balls were hit towards his way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he did nothing.
Did you look up his salary?
But he probably getting paid a whole lot of money.
A whole lot of money.
A whole lot. To stand in the outfield. Yeah, it's crazy. But baseball players get paid a whole. But they play 266 games?
Yeah, they play a lot of games.
Yeah. And that's why. If they can hit the ball well, especially, and then they only got to hit the ball 3 out of 10 times. If you can hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you considered a great baseball player.
I know the odds sound so crazy, but then when you think about how fast this ball is coming, like 90 miles an hour, 70, 90, whatever.
90 to 100 is like fast.
9 miles an hour, and then it's moving.
And it's small. You got to hit it with your bat. So
Yes.
it's pretty.
Yeah, like we're not knocking baseball.
Not at all, but
We're just
I'm just saying, it's not my speed.
because of how particular or precise you have to be.
Definitely.
It requires a lot more. But we are here to not talk about baseball and sports, but to talk about entitlement. Pastor decided he wanted to call out an entitled generation. Why? Why did you feel that you needed to call that group out?
I didn't call out a particular group. I just stated some facts about those who feel entitled, and it doesn't points to a particular generation. It points to all of us. All of us in some areas of life we can feel entitled. Right? I hear crickets. We can feel entitled to certain things. Even this week, I put a post up on Facebook. So I go to the gym. I get there probably about 5:10, 5:12, right? And in order for me to remember where I parked at, I try to park in the same parking area every time. Because a few times I go in the gym, I'm so tired from the workout. When I come out the gym, I don't remember where I park at. So someone said, just park in the same space or the same place every time. But then, like the last couple of days, people have been in my parking spot.
The gall.
And so when I saw that, I was like, dang, I'm entitled. I feel entitled to this parking spot that I don't own. And it was from this sermon that made me realize that I myself, I am a living witness, have some form of a sense of entitlement. Yeah, and it's certain stuff. All of us have some form of it. But in the sermon, I didn't call out one generation. I did say many parents, speaking from not many parents. I'll just speak from me. We grew up with nothing, and so we try to make sure our children have something and not have to go through the things we endured, and we create entitled individuals.
That's a good look at you. You're so self-aware. You're so self-aware.
For real. And I think if we really look at generations, those who have achieved more than the previous generation make sure that the next generation that's coming behind them is taken care of well. But in doing that, what are you hindering or preventing? And so I believe some of my kids are entitled. I'm not going to call out no names, but some feel that way.
Yeah, I think definitely this age of generation, because I have two young nephews who are similar ages to your children, and they feel like they should just get stuff just because they asked for it. Which I think, like, I don't know how that happens, how you get into this mindset. Maybe it's like the instantness of things. Like growing up, it was like you had delivery, but it was almost easier to just go get it than to have it delivered. But now you got DoorDash and Uber Eats and
grocery
Instacart, like, or the store themselves will come and deliver the food or whatever it is that you need, the product. So asking you shall receive from these organizations. So then why would my interactions with others be any different?
Right. It's similar to like the illustration I gave, going to Packers game, having a parking pass 15 steps away from the door, in a suite, only 10 to 15 people there, all you can eat, all you can drink, and then you don't have to worry about lines at the restrooms or the restroom being crowded. that is the good life. That I was thinking, yo, this is how you should experience an event all the time. And then no, it's not like that.
It's not like that all the time.
It's
but
not.
that one experience it then becomes the expectation of all experiences.
For real.
Yeah.
We were, my wife and I ain't say this on what I said here because this is the overflow, right?
It's the overflow.
We were in Chicago, and then we was in Delta Sky Club.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were in there chilling, and it's time to go to the flight. We didn't have to go out the Sky Club to get to our gate. We walked out the Sky Club straight to getting on the plane. You talking about some entitlement?
Man.
I felt entitled.
Yes. I would say the airports are definitely a space of entitlement.
Oh, yeah.
Because like what
Plane seating,
your cabin, like or like when you get called,
yeah.
Priority, what type of food and beverages that you get, the space, all of that. Like I see so many people who are just like, I deserve to be on the plane first, and to me, I'm like, I get it. Like I've done first class before. I've done. Whatever the next one, business class,
Comfort,
and then yeah, I'm a Delta girl, so
comfort,
so comfort. Then you get main cabin. I've sat in all of them, and at the end of the day, we leave and arrive at the same time.
Facts.
It's just a matter of how you want to have the journey there, which that could be a sermon too. We all live and die. So what's your journey gonna be?
That's
Ooh, I keep giving him sermons, y'all.
It's an illustration. It's an illustration.
That could be a whole. There's a text somewhere. This book is big. There's a text somewhere.
That'll be a good illustration.
Yeah.
I probably can use that.
Yeah, I think you can. Give me credit too.
I'm gonna say this lady I heard.
And then I'm gonna be like, it was me. It was me. So let me get a microphone back upstairs. So as we talk about entitlement, we are here with David, pastor's favorite, God's favorite. Here in Psalms 145, 1 through 7. How many chapters are in Psalms?
Well, Psalms are not considered as chapters; they're considered as books.
Books.
And then it's broken up in divisions. It's 150 books in Psalms.
So we're
at least in some. The 150
Oh yes,
Psalms.
no S, right?
Yeah.
So we're on the back end, or in that third section of books.
Yeah.
So what's going on here with David and what's going on with
It's
David
just if you look from 145 all the way to the 150, it's just talking about praising God. And David just is writing on the importance of praising God and why. And so that's where I get the title from, though. He just deserves it all, based off the words of the biblical text. And so I don't know what state of life David was in when he was writing this. I don't know what circumstance he was enduring while writing, but he truly writes in a way that he gives all the glory and honor to God.
Yeah, it's into like the conversation about like entitlement and then deserving of things. I think like God deserves our praise. He's not entitled to it. That was one of my notes, and as we talked a little bit, it's like, oh no, I get it. Like that makes sense. Like God could easily be like, you should just praise me because I am God.
Right.
But He continues to do the work to deserve it from us. And I think that's something we need to continue to recognize and just acknowledge the fact that like God deserves our praise. I think if we think about like parents, active parents in kids' lives, they deserve to be honored. They deserve to be respected. They deserve to be admired and celebrated. It's not just entitled piece of like, well, I'm the parent, so you should do all these things to the children, but the children should see all the things that their parents are doing in their lives and that they deserve that praise. I think that definitely that is a direct correlation to how God deserves our praise.
Yes, I think he's entitled to it because we were created to praise him, right? But he also deserves it based off his worth, what he's worth, what he's done, how he's been in our lives, how he's, even just the ability to be alive, walking, talking, seeing, hearing. Just for that, he deserves our praise. And even if we didn't have none of that, right? He still deserves. But if we have breath in our body, he deserves all of our praise. And so I think he's entitled to it because of who he is, but he also deserves it because of what he does.
And that gets us to the first point of the internal worship. So there's these verses 1 through 3. Excuse me. This is water. Thank you. That talk about this extol, which means to express a deep desire to praise, which I didn't know that was the root word for exalt, or the foundation for exalting.
Extol, yeah. So David said, "I'll extol the Lord, for you are my God and King. I would bless your name forever and ever. Every day I would bless you and I would praise your name forever and ever." Right? It just presents a continual act of worshiping, praising, and extolling, which means lifting, and exalting, And so it was just that's what David's saying. No, that's an eternal praise. I mean, he's going to do it for a long time, and so I think that says a lot, right? What could we say? Some people are eternally Bears fans, right? No matter how much they lose, Jesus, they still would be a Bears fan. Same with Packer fans.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
No matter what you glad about.
Well, I'm neither, but
no matter how much they lose, right?
Shade.
I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying when you're a fan of something, you support it no matter what. Now you might get mad and upset. And then you might not care about it if the season, not as much if the season is not in, right? But David said, "I will do this forever." Right? I will do this forever, eternally. I will bless your name. I'll extol you. I'll praise you every day. So that means in season, out of season, good and bad, great, not so great. I'm going to praise and worship you. Because you deserve it all.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it all. You talk about the purpose of your praise and being sure to make sure that we know why we're praising God. Now, I think about praise. At times, it could potentially be some low-hanging fruit, and maybe I'm looking at it wrong. He woke me up this morning. Is that low-hanging fruit? Versus praising him for, I don't know, being in my right mind, getting here, being here safely, my family's okay. Are there levels to praise that we should be striving for?
I think it should become a routine, right? It's a spiritual discipline that we should be committed to. Now, in the Hebrew, there are multiple words that defines praise, Shabbat, Barak,
Praise the Lord.
Todah, all these
It means
different,
sing.
all these different ways we could praise God. So it's the intentionality that's there. When someone says thank you or acknowledges you for the small things, it means more to me when I do great things. You feel what I mean? If I do something great and someone say thank you, then okay, yeah, I deserve that. You know what I mean? But if you giving me praise or giving me a thanks for the things that I'm constantly doing, I can appreciate that a little more. That's just me. I can't speak for nobody else.
Yeah, it's kind of that. It's continual acknowledgement, right? And then also that like reassurance of like, okay, there's people are seeing the impact. Maybe.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, and so when it comes to God and I don't think it's low hanging fruit. I think it's the intentionality got to be there no matter what. And so if you're not intentional of giving God praise, then it won't become a habit, right? Whatever we do as believers, we want it to become something that's a part of our daily lives. Prayer, worship, praise, service, giving, studying your Bible. You want that to become something you automatically commit yourself to doing no matter what's going on. And it becomes spiritual discipline, then it becomes a part of who you are. And I think when it comes to praise, as I said in the sermon, when you understand the purpose of your praise, then your praise becomes different. Because you can sit in church, come on, praise the Lord. People clap their hands. Some will say amen. Some will say hallelujah. Some will say thank you, Jesus. But whatever. But when you understand the purpose behind your praise, you give God a different type of vocal praise, hand wave, whatever it may be. And even though the way we live our lives is also an act of praise too. We're praising God by how we honor Him.
Yeah, and by how we're honoring God by how we live our lives, which gets to your second point of the intergenerational praise and how we should live our lives. That is something that is truly passed down, like a genetic trait.
Right.
Like, I got all this thick, curly, beautiful hair that should be passed down in the same way that my praise is. And I think that's a very I can't think of the word, very blank way of thinking about what we pass down to generations. Because I think we can get so caught up in like the literal and the factual, right? I want my kid to have my nose, and I want them to have their father's smile, and I want them to have my height and athleticism, blah, 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 all those things. But we don't always think about, I want them to have my zest for life. I want them to have my desire to learn. I want them to have my spirit and faith and my desire to grow closer to God. I want them to have my curiosity, or like we're not intentional about speaking those things. And so I like that you brought those up.
You're speaking for other people.
How?
You said we and not. Who was the we? You said we don't think about this stuff. You don't know what other people think.
There's some of us that, you're right, my bad for speaking for other people. Some of us may not think in that way.
Yeah.
And so to be able to call it out as maybe that is something that some of us should be thinking of. When I say it, it makes it sound like other. Like when I say like some of us, like I'm not included.
Yeah.
That's why I said we to be included, but
yeah,
I understand both sides.
I think the intentionality again must be there for parents, guardians, church leaders, anybody who has a younger person in their lives to demonstrate to them what they want to pass down to them. Forget, I was listening to a podcast and homeboy said, I don't want to pass down generational curses. I want to gain enough now that I may have generational blessings. You know what I mean? Because I want the next generation to be blessed and not cursed. But I don't believe in curse because I think Jesus became the curse on the cross and when he died on the cross for us in Galatians chapter 3. But it is some things that people pick up just because of the environment in which they're in, right? And it's often said we are products of our environment. I am a worshiper. I am a prayer. I am a church boy because of the environment my mother created. My mother was my alarm clock most mornings because before we got up to go to school, she was already up praying. And she didn't pray quiet, silent prayers. She was loud, and I don't know if she was doing it on purpose to wake us up or, but I do know she was crying out to God. And so observing that allowed me to take on that spirit. You understand what I'm saying? Seeing her in worship or seeing her being loud, she was louder at home than she was at church. You feel me? And so then that I'm able to see that, and I can see the benefits of that she's a single black woman in America raising 4 boys by herself. And she made it through it. Now, all of us are not perfect like me, but no.
That's something you got to take up with your siblings.
They know I'm the favorite. But to even look back, my mother, at one point, she had a son in combat for 5 years, either in Iraq or Afghanistan, because I would come home, my brother would go. He come home, then I'll go. You know what I'm saying? I come home, then he'll go. For 5 years, one of us was in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Wow.
And for both of us to make it home, I know it's because of the prayers and the faith, not only on me, but the audacity of hope my mother had for us. And I look back on it like, yo, what if MJ and Kaya was in the Army going back and forth to comeback tours? I'd be going crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because of the faith that she displayed, now I can see how to handle it because of how she handled what we was going through. And so that's what we stand on. Being what we desire the next generation to be. And the goal is for them to be better.
Yeah.
I hope that's the goal of most older adults, for this generation to be better than what they were and what they had become.
Yeah, I think, and that's where, I think that's the intention for sure, is that, the previous generation wants the next generation to have more opportunities, more success than they had, to continue to grow and create that legacy of this is what I learned. Let me kind of help you avoid some of those obstacles. Now, there are some that don't let their children fail, which then causes challenges. Like I see it where I am, where there are people, young adults, who've never failed in their life. because their parents, guardian support system, adult support system wouldn't let it happen. They went to the school, they held their hand throughout doing all their work, they had whatever conversations with teachers, they moved them here, moved them there, and you've got students who just like are ill-equipped, or young adults I should say, that are ill-equipped to manage the challenges of life and really struggle with being able to adapt and adjust because they've never had to. I think like there's so many, I think of it as so small as like a little kid, like a toddler, they fall, right? They fall, maybe they like scrape their knee or something, and they just start wailing like, wah! There's no blood, they just fell. So they're like...
That didn't sound like a child, that sounded like a T-Rex dinosaur.
But the baby falls, and parents are quick to come scoop them up because they're crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no blood, no nothing like that, no like immediate care. But because the child is crying, it's like, oh no, I can't have my baby cry. Whether that's embarrassment, whether that's the perception of feeling like they don't care for their child, whatever it may be. But I know that there's value in letting a baby cry it out. Like that's them working through what they need to work through.
But the more the baby cry, the more pain you feel.
Maybe, yeah. But would you rather feel this small pain for this like 2 to 3 minutes versus the larger pain of later?
If you are a parent, you want to relieve that. You want to relieve that child. I'm just saying. I can't speak for nobody else.
Speak for you as a parent.
I'm speaking for me as a parent. I don't want my children to suffer if I can prevent it from happening.
But it already happened.
But so now if I'm there to console and to help recover, I'm being there as quick as possible. So
you weren't the cry it out parent.
It depends. It depends on if the child is a perpetual fallout, cry it out. And if I notice that the child has mastered the art of drawing attention because of the crying out or falling out, then okay, let that baby cry it out. But right now, like Lily Poo, if she crying, I'm trying to figure out why to stop the crying. You feel what I mean? And when she start walking, if she fall, I'm picking her up, I'm holding her, I'm rocking her. Well, I'm not her parent, and so I can spoil her as much as I want to, and then let her parents deal with the rest. But we need to probably do some psychological research and look at the results of that person, as you stated, that you was talking about, those people, how their lives go when they have a strong support system throughout their lives that prevent them from crying it out, based off on those who are forced to cry it out. Yeah. Alex talked about, she in psychology, she talked about some research on that, about not letting babies cry and stuff like that. So I don't want to talk from, just saying some babies, some people. I would look at some theoretical or practical research that speaks to the results of growing up and always having someone to cover up, block, protect, keep, give you what you need, and those who grew up in systems that did not provide. I only can go off what I see in movies, what I mean? And movies depict it as someone who grew up with nothing, they become strong, they are resilient, they become warriors, sometimes they become fighters or secret agents. I love those movies. And then those who grow up in two-family household and they have everything that they need, they often are more soft. They often are more soft when I mean mentally, and they crash and break and are damaged far easier than those who have gone through some stuff. And so Maybe look at some research and really see.
You bring up a very interesting point, and then
Okay.
we'll get back to this. I had a student, I work with students, in my office, and he's like, I want to gain so much wealth, but then I'm going to move to the hood. So then my kids don't know that I have all this money, but I'm going to make them struggle. And I was like, wait, that's usually not the goal, to go back into a place of frustration and struggle and nothing. And he's like, nah, but that's where the best like athletes come from, is from struggle, just everything that you said. And I said to him, but does that have to be the struggle? I was like, you can create other areas of challenge. Like
Right.
the opposite of not giving your kid or having your child have nothing isn't give them everything. Like there's still things that they have to work for. There's still, you're not just gonna always buy them the newest gaming console because you can. It's like,
Right.
what's wrong with this one?
Mm-hmm.
Play this one. Or hey, yeah, you're gonna have to take the bus or ride the bike. Like you don't need a car right now. Like there's other things that you can, or like have them go, hey, get a job. If you want to have some money in your pocket, go get a job. So there are things that can be done that aren't so extreme, and I think you have to create that environment. Like I came like to your example of like being soft. Do you think I'm soft-minded?
You're not soft-minded, but you're not that tough. I don't think you're that tough. You're a little soft. You about mild.
You said I'm not soft-minded, but then I'm a little soft.
You about mild.
I'm mild.
I don't think you tough. I don't think you rough and tough like that.
When you say rough and tough, what do you mean?
Like mentally and stuff, right? If somebody come at you, I don't think you'll crash, but I do think you'll linger on it for a minute, and then I think you have the unique ability to suppress some things. You probably shouldn't do that because that causes more pain and stuff. You're not confrontational, right? You really don't like issues. You don't want no issues, but you're gonna speak your mind. But you won't say the full way you feel. You'll give some of it. Did I read you?
A little bit.
Been around you a little while, but I think that's what I think.
Yeah. I think there's some truth to that. I'm definitely more of an emotional person, that's for sure. I definitely...
You cry?
Mm-hmm.
Would you cry?
Mm-hmm. I cried 2 days ago.
Oh.
Not because of something someone said to me. If that...
Right.
It's not because someone made me cry. It's just,
situation, life.
Yeah, just not a moment.
When you get mad, do you cry?
No.
Okay. Like some people, they get real mad and then they start crying real bad.
Oh, yeah. No, when I get mad, I will remove myself. Mainly because in the moment, I'm thinking about how will this impact me in the future. Not in the moment. So I will remove myself.
So some people, that's the issue with a lot of people. I mean, some people, they can't see the consequence of their decisions in that moment. And so when you think about the consequence of the decision in that moment, it prevents you from doing things that'll hinder your future.
So I've removed myself.
Good.
Now, in all my regular life, like my everyday life, what you said, it's about 90% accurate. But you get me in between, like on a sporting field, that's different.
Oh, okay. You built like that?
I'm not a talker. Like I'm not out here like running my mouth, because those are the people that get targeted immediately. But I can back up everything that I say. So last night, I was playing kickball.
Did y'all win?
My team won.
Oh, good.
Then we subbed for another team, and so I was helping them out, and I ended up being catcher. And the way that this league sets it up is that the catcher is in front of the batter's box, up the third baseline. So they kind of stand there. I don't know why it's there. I guess you have like a more active player in the field. Gives them more play, whatever. Anyway, so the person that was up at bat, I kicked the ball up the first baseline previously, and he ran from second base to go catch the ball. I was mad. I was like, you were supposed to be over there. I kicked the ball over here. Why did you catch my ball? So then he comes up to kick, and I tell him, I was like, you better not hit me, because I was very close. Like it's not like the kicker is here, and then I'm like here.
Okay.
So it's a very possible thing to like get hit. I literally told him, I said, do not hit me. I'm mad. Don't hit me. He thought, I don't know what he was thinking.
He hit you?
Yes.
Did you catch the ball?
No, he hit it at my shins. Like he kicked it straight at my shins. So then I approached him. Like I'm not charged. Like I'm not like running at him. But I approached him. Like they was like, foul, whatever. We're going back. And I walked up to him. I said, what did I say? I said, don't hit me. And then you hit me. He's like, I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, it wasn't a joke.
You be like that, CT? Did you bump him?
Yeah.
Dang.
No, I didn't like throw him. He's a little frail guy. Yeah, I hit him with my shoulder.
Dang, CT, you need to chill. You can't be playing sports like that.
I'm competitive.
Y'all
I mean, I can't play sports like that. Why not?
Because it's just a game.
You say it like I decked him.
You bumped him.
Okay.
If you bump me, then I want to fight you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we can fight. Go ahead. I am okay.
So don't be bumping people. What if that dude wanted to fight you after that?
Cool.
And then we got to ride down on him and stuff. No, we're not ready for that. We're not built for that life. I'm not built for jail.
I'll just be overnight.
No.
Anyway, so no, not to call you. Third point. It's us testifying of his goodness, but I think we talked about that a lot in the intergenerational praise of, continuing to tell and speak of the mighty and awesome acts of God. And it made me think about oral history and how thinking about like the Bible, like it wasn't all written at one time.
Right.
So some of the some books were written. What's the biggest gap between books being written? Oh.
That's a good question. The New Testament, I think so the Old Testament, it took about 1,500 years to write. New Testament, I think it was like 150. Yeah. So
big gaps in between all of this. And so then I think about Noah being in the ark. Or not, it was not even like Noah being in the ark, but because like that account was able to be preserved all of those years whenever it was written, right? And so someone had to be really intentional about making sure they continued to tell the story of God's goodness through the flood, which was only 6 people that had to be right? 6? No, 8.
I don't remember the total. I don't
Because
know how many daughters he had. 3?
I didn't think he had daughters. I thought it was just his sons and their wives.
And their wives, yeah.
So 8, maybe? I think it was 3 sons, 3 wives.
Yeah.
And then the 2 husband and his wife. So that, like, they had to be really intentional about making sure that they told that story in detail and continued that. And I think about all the prophecies that are in Isaiah that had to continue to be told and shared and held on to get to Jesus.
Right.
And so we have to, I'm putting it in modern day, right? We can talk about Bill Russell in basketball, Bill Walton, who just passed. Like, you can talk about Pele with soccer, or pick an Olympian, pick your sports, pick your Olympian. There's so many stories that get told down through generations. You can talk about the presidents, you can talk about political figures, musical figures. Like, there's so many stories that continue to be told and shared. And we need to do the same with how God is showing up for us in his goodness, so that people can continually to see it, which again gets to the praise part, like continuing to talk about what God has done for us.
Right. I think you want to share about his goodness. You want to share it to anybody that will listen, right? You want to talk about how great God is, because that is what ultimately, I believe, convinces people to serve God, right? When you meet new people that know nothing about the Bible and you tell them your story, your testimony, your story will be more impactful than Romans 10:9 or John 3:16, because they understand your life more than they understand the biblical text. And so I think it's necessary for us to tell our story. It's necessary for us to testify, which means to proclaim something that you have experienced yourself about who God is. Or even that's what a testimony is eyewitness account. Yeah. When you become the eyewitness of what you've seen or what you felt or what you've experienced, you can tell that story that can be impactful to the life of somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Continue to tell your testimony. Those are all the questions I had. You got anything else you want to share for the people?
No, man. I ain't gonna call you a man, but talking to the dude right there. We must be intentional about what we're doing, and I think something that was impactful in this sermon was when we said worship him in generation to generation. That people wouldn't know who Christ is, because if we're not telling our story, if we're not exhibiting what Christianity looks like, there will be a generation of people who know not who God is. And if we, ultimately, I said in the sermon, I want to make sure the next generation, my next generation of my name, my bloodline, are taken care of financially. I want to make sure they're taken care of mentally, where they take on some of who I am when it comes to my ability to do certain things. But ultimately, I want them to take on my faith, what I believe in, how I live my life. And I can't ask them to do something that they have not seen me do. You feel what I mean? Yeah. And so I have to exhibit that in front of them so that we can build up so many, right now, African American people are not church goers like they used to be. And initially, you blame it on one generation that's not coming to church, and it started with the millennials, their mass exodus of the church. But I don't think they never did a mass exodus. I think they never went, because the generation before them went to church so much that when they became adults, they said, I'm not going to make my children go to church.
Yeah.
You feel what I mean? And whereas they were saying there's a mass exodus of the millennial generation, but now you're saying millennials are in church. And some have never been a part of church until they became adults. And that's because their parents didn't force or make them go to church. And I think that happens when parents come to, so I'm done. But when parents who grew up in church decide, I'm not going to make my children go to church, they forget they grew up in church, they left the church, they knew their way back to the church. And so now they are in church, but their kids are not. And it's because they didn't get a foundation that the church provided them, even though they were going grudgingly. Right? Because when we're children, we don't always want to go to church. I remember one Sunday I told my mama, I'm going home. And then she was like, why are you going home? I said, and before I said another word, she slapped the taste out of my mouth. I think I just got it back last week. Just got my taste back. She slapped the taste out of my mouth, and I sat there, amen, and I enjoyed worship to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? I blame my mom all the time. I could have been in the NBA, but she wouldn't let me play AAU basketball on Sunday morning.
Mine didn't either. We went to the evening tournament. Like, we were the same. It was the games would like start early, like 8, 9, 10, 11. But if you won, you got to play the later games. But so I would tell my coaches, and my parents were completely supportive. It was like, no, we have church, so we're going to miss the first game, but we'll be there for the next one. So it challenged us to win our games on Saturday so that we could play later games on Sunday.
Yeah, so she wouldn't let me play on Sunday morning, so that killed my career. You know?
It shouldn't have.
No, but because of her doing that and being intentional about that,
yeah,
it now allows me to be the man that I am today, and I appreciate her for that. So continue to pass down, make your faith hereditary, that your DNA also be the faith of your children, that the faith that you have in Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thank you all for viewing and listening to us. Continue to check back for more videos and more content, mtzlife.com. And until then, stay marvelous, fabulous, and blessed. Peace.
Peace.